Hi guys, you're here with me, Jen the Taxidermy Witch, and we are doing a working that someone asked me to do. Basically, it was a video request that turned into a paid working, which I love, because I get to show you guys what I do for people. So, I've had this glass jar that is in the shape of an egg for quite some time, and I haven't known what I'm going to do with it. But I knew that it would be great for either Ostara or a fertility working or an infertility working, okay? And what I'll be doing it for is an infertility working. Inside, I've got a black chicken's foot. I've a painted black chicken's foot. I've got a black candle. I sell these on my Etsy site, the painted black chicken's feet. They're cheap, they're like $5. I've got a Balut Egg. If you don't know what a balut egg, it is basically an egg that's fertilized, and then there's an embryo inside and a fetus inside. I've got a taro root that looks like a scrotum. I've got a raccoon Balcum, and I'll show you how I chose that Balcum. And I've got a rotten chicken egg. This I've had in the air for 3 months, just in the regular air, so I'm sure it's rotten. So let me show you what I'll be doing inside this working. I thought for a while that I would be able to get this pineapple inside of there, but I can't. It doesn't fit. So that's okay, because I think what I turned it into is even better anyway. So the pineapple, this one is basically like been sitting on the shelf for a whole month. Pineapple represents chastity. So basically, I don't recommend you do this with one. It's just, I was just playing with it and seeing what would happen. It's like hard on the outside, but Alex, my husband, told me that it will just caramelize into candy on the inside and somehow rot. I was just testing to see what happened. It didn't mold at all, and usually they do start to mold at the bottom. So we'll see. Anyway, if you didn't have a glass egg, what you could do this in is you could get a fresh pineapple, clean out all the fruit, and then somehow dehydrate it in the oven, because it wouldn't fit in the dehydrator. Dehydrating in the oven is pretty easy. You can find a YouTube video on how to do it. So at that point, you would just cut off the top of the pineapple, and then you would, carve out all of the fruit on the inside, and then you would, go ahead and open it up and use it as you're working. And remember, this is a small pineapple, so maybe a bigger pineapple would be closer to this size. Thank you. And you could do the same working in the pineapple rather than in this, okay? So, now I want to talk about... Oh, let me please introduce who we have on the table here, the piece of taxidermy. This is Tootsie, and her buddy is Eleanor, and Eleanor is actually lost in the mail right now. The post service isn't that great from America to New Zealand, so... Anyway, hello Tootsie, she's gorgeous, and these are a pair of what I believe are stork legs. They're pretty long, and you can see the knee joint here. They're about 3 feet, 2.5, no, 2 feet long. So Tootsie's going to be with us for our working today, because that's what I dreamed up last night. Like, she literally appeared to me in my dreams last night and said, hey, I want to be part of this. And that made me think to add the chicken's foot. So, there's a lot to this working. A lot. Since I'm not adding the pineapple for chastity, because I'm doing this. And you guys can mix this up any way you like, just remember. So, this working is for this girl who has 2 kids, and she doesn't want to have any more kids. She wants to be infertile. So, I've done up this working for her, and I will be giving this to her. She's local, so that's good. This won't have to be shipped because a rotten egg, But you'll see, we're going to put sand. We're going to layer this with black hexing sand that I also make on my channel and sell on my site. And we're going to layer this so that the eggs are protected, okay? So I've sprayed my hands with Florida water to cleanse myself. And this has already been saged out. Sage and Palo Santo. So now I want to start kind of adding in these things. When I do the chicken's foot, I'm going to anoint it with my black hexing sand oil that has loads of things in it, and you guys should check out that video. That way I don't have to add the hot peppers, I don't have to add the mandrake, I don't have to add the what all did I put in this? There's so many things in here. Chili, habanero, oil, black wax is dripped on the inside, like you would drip it, and it's dripped on the inside. It's so cool, just like the inside of a Starbucks cup is dressed with chocolate sauce. I dressed the inside of this with black wax. As it was hot, I threw it in. So there's a lot going on in here, and make sure to check out that video. But let's just start. So I'm taking these out really delicately, you guys, because I do not want that balut to break. It is raw, and I do not want that rotten egg to break. It is rotten and raw. Please stay tuned for the video that I'll be doing, hopefully with Alex, my husband, on eating a balut for the first time. I would like to try it. I've watched some videos on it. Okay, and after we layer this whole thing with the eggs, the black sand, all the ingredients, then we're going to put this at the top and burn it, okay? And without the lid, obviously, because it needs oxygen to burn. And once it's done burning, we'll lid it and probably throw some wax over it. This will probably be a two-part video. It's a long working, because it's really important. And there's a lot to it. So let's get some black sand in here so that we can safely put the egg down. And inside my black sand I have like white eggshells, burnt matches. There's a video on how I make my black sand. So I'll probably need more black hexing sand because this working is going to probably take the majority of it. And, you know, I take this out on the dark moon and work with it. So, got some in the bottom there, enough to just have some protection. And for me, when the pregnancy happens, it starts with the male. So, I'm going to start with the male bit. And you would hold this and think about the person. If you had a picture of the person, you could put that in here too. 2 pictures of the people would be amazing things to put in there. And see how these look like male genitalia. They even have little hairy, furry parts on them. So you take those and you think about the person, and while you break it in half, you think about them being infertile, okay? And that person not getting pregnant, okay? So then you put in some, these aren't, you know, to put them on the edges so that when you layer the sand you can kind of see what's in there, and I think that that's really cool. So the next thing I'm going to put in there is this rotten egg, because it will represent, you know, rotten fertility. Really, 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 really careful, you guys. I do not want that smell in here. If you've ever seen the movie Charlotte's Web, like the cartoon from the, I don't know if it's from the 70s or what, but I used to watch it in the early 80s. And Charlotte cracked an egg that the rat had stolen away, because the rat, Templeton was his name. He liked, you know, rotten things. Get a match in there. Burnt match. Why do I have white eggshells in there? That's a good question. Well, white eggshells generally are not kept happily at the farm. They're generally raised, and if you've ever watched like Earthlings or any videos on how livestock is really raised, it's generally raised pretty rough, and so chickens, you know, never see light and all of this craziness. As you can see, I have some female mannequin forms here. just to kind of get that whole fertility feel going. Another thing I want to throw in here is, because the, and so this layer is about, this first layer is about the start, is about broken fertility, okay? I have a raccoon Balcum, and I'm pretty low on my Balcum right now. I only had 4. How do I choose out of the 4? I throw them out with my eyes closed, and with my eyes closed I pick one, and I ask Spirit to help me. So as I break this Balcum, I'm going to think about that broken fertility, okay, and that person not getting that woman pregnant. Okay, another thing that, and you know, put them near the edge so that you could possibly see them, I guess. That's kind of cool if you can see what's in there. Another thing that you could put in here would be the woman's menstrual blood and the man's semen. You could anoint those taro roots with the man's semen, and you could anoint this egg with the woman's menstrual blood, okay? So those taro root you can find at the international market, the Asian market, etc. The Balcum you can find eBay or out in the woods if you find taxidermy. The next layer, so let's get a little more sand in there just to cover up what's left. And really spend time with a working like this, because it's not about like darkness, you know, like this person just wants to have her 2 kids, not have any more, and have a loving relationship with her spouse. So this black chicken's foot. Black chicken's foot are good for cleansing. Black chicken's feet, well, not black chicken's feet. Black is good for banishing, okay? And if we want to banish fertility, that's why this is a black chicken's foot, okay? And black is good for exercising. Another thing for exercising I've brought out is this rattle that I made, my exorcism rattle. And when this is done, you can shake this around that, you know. So I'm going to anoint this black chicken's foot with my hexing oil. My hexing sand oil. One way to get this oil out is a crazy ass turkey baster, right? This will be my first time using this. I found it just at the market and I thought that would be cool. So give your oils a good shake so that everything gets stirred up. Give it a tip. And pull. Working? No? Alright, well, things don't always work, and that's alright. I hadn't tried it yet, so I can anoint this with a paintbrush. Let me grab that for you. Just a moment. Okay, so you can just take a paintbrush, any old paintbrush. However, if you're doing it for a hexing working, I would probably make that your hexing sand paintbrush or something. I don't know. It's not, you know, a special one or anything. So just dip it down in there and really think about what you're doing as you paint it, you know. banish the fertility and cause infertility. Banish fertility. This couple is happy with the 2. Banish the fertility. This couple is happy with their 2. Banish the fertility. This couple is happy with their 2. Banish the fertility. You know, anything that you'd like to say, whatever the situation calls for. You could completely reverse this working and not do it in a hex, but make it a fertility working. Use our moon-blessed white sand that we create together. Use a white chicken's foot for purity, or you know, whatever color represents fertility. You could do it that way. Now, I kind of wanted to save this for the end and stick it out so we could see it, because we're not really going to see much through the black sand. So I'm just going to let this chill here for a minute and just kind of be there. Get rid of this black hexing sand. We're done with that. Next, I want to grab something that's kind of cool. My husband is a gardener, and he comes upon aborted flowers, which are flowers that were just about to happen but then fell off before they opened, and he calls them aborted petals and flowers and stuff. And so I want to show you what I've got in there, in here, as far as that goes. These teeny tiny dried aborted figs. And then some like even tinier ones. And think, I'm going to use a teeny tiny one because this egg, this balut inside is only a 13-day-old chicken. And it is a fetus. Yes, that's right. I have another one. I should crack one open and show it to you, but I would feel bad because I wouldn't eat it at that point. But I am going to be taking these 2 and showing you on a video, hopefully this evening or this afternoon, on how to do balut. Since we're not doing the whole pineapple, we've dried pineapple leaves in the dehydrator, and we'll be putting some of those in for chastity, okay? But let's add this teeny tiny aborted fig. Things are so cool that I've kept them dried. I just really like them. There's even tinier ones in there. Okay, all the things I'm proud of. It's so funny. Okay, next so we have that teeny tiny aborted fig in there. We're gonna put the balut in there, which is actually the chicken embryo. The fetus is in there, and this is of a duck. That's why it's so big. It's a duck egg. Okay, and this is a delicacy in the Philippines. You get these at the Asian market. And part of this can be coming through the black sand, don't get me wrong, you know, you can have part of this sticking out. Let's throw some of these in here around it for chastity. These are those dried pineapple leaves. They are green, but when you dehydrate them, they turn just like a greenish, brownish yellow. So now that's the layer in there. Let's get the chicken's foot in at this point. Now, inside this oil, I have a habanero, I have hot peppers, it's black hexing sand. There's not nice things in there, and there's poisonous things in there as well as hot things. So I need to take this chicken's foot and be delicate. And just kind of be putting it there. Really hoping I have enough sand. Next, I'm taking out something that, yeah, it's an oil I've not shown you on my channel because the way you make it is like, has like, bodily fluids in it that I just, you know, don't like care to talk about on my channel. It's not excrement. It's, has to do with fertility, okay? So that's all I'm going to say about that. So I have a lot of incense burning when I open those things. And that's a walnut oil. Remember, walnuts are infertility. It's the only thing that Scott Cunningham says is good for infertility, okay? I could just tell you quickly. No. You can guess on your own what's in there. It's walnuts covered in, you know, bodily fluids that's not excrement or urine. So, oh, I know, death oil. That's another thing we could put in here is death oil. Okay, this is my death oil that I make. It's got a big giant deer bone in it, a jaw, and the oil's at the bottom. That one's always leaks. Okay. I've only used this death oil a few times, and it is potent. Where are we going to anoint this one? On this. Let's put the death oil on. Maybe just on the balut, okay? So death oil down there on the balut. This has all kinds of stuff in here. Oh my gosh, graveyard dirt, chilies, habaneros, mandrake root, ash. What else is in here? It's hard once you stir it up to see everything, but I did do a whole video on what's in here. Once you stir it up, it just looks like mud because of all the graveyard dirt and everything. So I'm painting that balut, that fertilized duck embryo egg, with the death oil. And I've got the hexing oil on the chicken foot that I painted black for banishing. You can find those on my Etsy page, which I'll list below. You can find the death oil. I haven't had the death oil listed yet, but you can certainly buy it from me. Just send me a message. Anything in mine that I create is for sale, you guys. We're moving soon. We have to save up a lot of money to move our house, and it'll be really exciting. So, alright, death oil. Now let's just cover all this up with as much black hexing sand as we can. Yeah, that death oil doesn't smell good either. Not all my oils smell good, you guys, like, honestly. They're witchcraft oils. So I'm covering this hexing sand all over that egg. Getting as much in there as I can, because I don't want those eggs to break, okay? It'd be lovely just to have that sitting at the top, but if you pick this up and it hits the glass edge, you could potentially get a very, very, very rotten egg broken on you. That, again, Charlotte's Web, don't want to do it. After I do workings like this on my altar that are, like, not the nicest, or, you know, they're not, like, warm and fuzzy, right? I do a big, big cleansing of my space. So I'm literally pouring the rest of the sand in there, and just know that that's what I've got. Going to the store to make more. I want to have this foot sticking out, this egg just a tad, but make sure it's covered up by the sand. Yeah, and there's a little bit of the chastity leaf sticking out from the pineapple. The egg, I feel like it's in there, it's covered, it's stable. Lastly, okay, I thought I'd have more space. I don't want to burn and break the glass. So, shoot. Well, my black candle idea, burning it in the sand, is not going to work. There's a possibility. Yeah, I can get that to work. No, I'm not going to risk breaking the glass. It's super thin. I'm going to burn this black candle just out here beside it, okay? So you could anoint this black candle with some kind of death oil that we make right here on my channel. You could anoint it with, what else could you anoint it with? Let me do this real quick and then I'll think. Death oil, black hexing oil, war oil could work, but I mean it's not the #1 idea. So now I'm going to just have this near this, okay? Not too close, because honestly I've broken glass by having candles too close before. So, and then all of this again is done in their relationship in love. So I am taking this, it is a wand, what I call a wand, and it's made of an apple tree, and it looks like a hand. So for me it feels like a loving hand, and I just want to put that loving hand right there on it. So it's just kind of holding it like that, okay? And now I'm going to put the lid on. Well, first you would sit there and hold all of your intention over there for, I'm serious, half an hour. You just meditate over this, or whatever you want to call it. Visualize all of it. If you had loads of extra bones and skulls around, you could throw a skull in there and it would look so, so cute. But I work with my skulls and stuff, and I did this whole working for, I think it was $55-$60. The materials and the working itself. So, these kinds of things cost $15-$20 a piece. So, if the working costs more, you can have it be a little more extravagant, a little more things added to it. But this is what I've got to show you, and I'm really excited. I'm going to bring this up to the camera. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. Again, the Balcum is down under there. You can't see it, and it's broken. And there's a rotten chicken egg down there for 3 months. I let it sit out in just the air. And then we layered in pineapple leaves for chastity. There's a black chicken's foot sticking out of there. You can see it right there. And then the egg itself is sitting in there. And you can just be really easy with this working. Now at the end, y'all, you could definitely want to seal this at some point. I'm going to be using decoupage to seal over this. Another thing you could do is you could paint this whole thing black. You could paint symbols on it. You could paint a sigil on it. You could make a sigil, and that's what I'll be doing. Make a sigil, especially for the working, that's like, we'll do a part 2 video on this. I won't promise it, but possibly with a sigil on the outside. But if you don't know how to make a sigil, go look up my Law of Attraction. Just type in Taxidermy Witch Law of Attraction sigils, and it'll come up. But I teach you how to make sigils, and you could make a sigil that said the person's names, will only have their 2 children and won't be having any future pregnancies. Break those words down, make a sigil, paint it on the outside of this. That's a lovely idea. Take some black wax and just let it run down. I love the way it looks when it just runs down, So when this gets all, this is a black tea light, and when this gets all like liquefied, just take it and just, like we do, just drip it down. And that will even seal this a hair, like not totally, but you can get it to seal when the drips are bigger. So that is kind of my idea on how to do that, and I really hope you enjoyed this working. Jen the Taxidermy Witch, doing videos this morning. Have a great day, y'all.